So today we're going to dive into this incredible ancient story from a Buddhist text called the Cūḷataṇhāsaṅkhayasutta. It's this amazing tale about a god, a monk, and a heavenly palace that gets shaken right to its foundations. And it's all to teach this one really powerful lesson about distraction and, well, the true nature of reality itself.
You know, the story kicks off with a question that I think we've all asked ourselves at some point. But this time, it was asked about 2,500 years ago by a pretty unexpected character, a god named Sakka. We're talking the powerful ruler of a whole heavenly realm, and he goes directly to the Buddha and asks him for the secret to ultimate unshakable freedom.
And this is the answer the Buddha gives him. The original Pali phrase, if you're curious, is Sabbe Dhamma Nalam Binivisaya. Now this is the first kind of direct translation. And on the surface, it sounds simple, right? It's wise, it's profound, something you might see on a coffee mug. Don't get attached to stuff. Seems pretty straightforward.
And Sakka, he was totally thrilled with this answer. He thanks the Buddha, circles him as a sign of respect, and then poof, he vanishes, super happy. But one of the Buddha's top disciples, a monk named Moggallāna, was watching all of this go down. And he had this hunch, this feeling that the god, even with all his enthusiasm, hadn't really gotten what the teaching was all about.
So, Moggallāna decides to check on him. He uses his psychic abilities to pop over to Sakka's heavenly realm, and what does he find? Is the god deep in meditation, thinking about this new wisdom? Nope, not even close. He finds him completely lost, just utterly absorbed in the ridiculous luxuries of his celestial palace, Vejayanta.
And the scale of this place, the scale of the distraction is just mind-boggling. The scriptures actually give us the specs. We're talking a palace with 100 towers. Each of those towers has 700 chambers. Inside each chamber, you've got 7 celestial nymphs, and each of those nymphs has 7 of their own attendants. Sakka, who has completely forgotten the Buddhist lesson from just moments before, starts boasting the Moggallāna about how incredible it all is.
Moggallāna realized right then and there that just talking to him wasn't going to work. Sakka was way too comfortable, too wrapped up in his perfect, stable, luxurious world. The god didn't just need to hear the lesson, he needed to feel it. He needed a really dramatic, physical wake-up call to understand the truth he'd missed.
So, what does this powerful monk do? Does he start a debate? Give him a lecture? No. He focuses all of his power into one single point of action. Moggallāna performs this incredible psychic feat and presses down with just his big toe.
The effect is immediate, and it's terrifying. The entire Vejayanta palace, all 100 towers, all those thousands of chambers, it starts to tremble violently. Sakka and all the other gods are completely shocked, filled with this mix of terror and awe. The solid ground beneath their feet, the very thing that symbolized their power and permanence, suddenly felt like it was about to completely fall apart.
Okay, and this is the absolute key to the whole story. The earthquake wasn't a punishment for being distracted. It was a physical translation of the Buddha's real message. It was a way of showing Sakka the much deeper meaning that was hidden inside those simple words he'd heard just a little while earlier.
Now, to really get this, we've got to go back to that original phrase. The first word, Dhamma, is usually translated as things, but if you dig into its deeper linguistic root, it means so much more than just physical objects. It actually refers to the phenomena, the mental and physical structures that literally uphold our entire experience of reality. So it's not just the palace, but the idea of the palace. It's not just your phone, but your concept of what that phone represents. Then the next part is just as brilliant. That second keyword, abhinavesa, we usually hear it as attachment or clinging. But again, the root meaning is way more architectural, more physical. It actually means to settle down into or to establish a foundation upon. It literally means trying to build a permanent home on something.
So when you put these two deeper meanings together, the Buddhist message just transforms. He wasn't just saying, hey, don't get attached to your stuff. He was saying something so much more profound about reality itself. He was saying, you are trying to build a solid, permanent home, a stable sense of self, on foundations that are by their very nature always shifting, always unstable, always impermanent.
And that's the genius of Moggallāna's lesson. See? He made the abstract totally real. By physically shaking Sakka's palace, he was giving him this perfect, visceral metaphor for the nature of all dhammas, all the structures of our experience. He proved, in a way words never could, that the foundation Sakka was building his entire identity on was never really solid in the first place.
So, this brings this 2,500-year-old story right into our lives today. What are we using as the foundation for our identity? What's our personal Vejayanta palace?
Is it our job title, our reputation online? Maybe it's that list of achievements we hold on to so tightly, or maybe it's just that stubborn feeling of being right about things. These are the structures we try to build our permanent homes on.
And so the big takeaway here is this. True freedom, the kind Sakka was really asking about, isn't just about practicing not being attached to our stuff. It's about a much deeper shift in perception. It's about recognizing that the very ground of our experience, our thoughts, our feelings, our ideas, the world around us, is fundamentally unstable and is always, always in motion.
And that leaves us with one last, really powerful question to think about. Because we all do it. We all look for that solid ground in a world that is constantly shifting under our feet. So it's worth taking a moment to ask yourself, what palace are you trying to build on?